This is my second journal article. This week I am doing a journal article that is titled Inclusion of Students with Learning, Emotional, and Behavioral Disabilities Through Strengths-Based Approaches. This was written by two authors, Justin Garwood and Abby Ampuja, and presented by me, Kirsty Fremer. So the overview is specifically about growth mindset versus fixed mindset. They target students with learning disabilities and emotional disabilities who are being mainstreamed to the general education setting. Typically, this reason is because now the least restrictive environment for students with learning disabilities is and should be the general education classroom. The authors wrote how growth mindset should be implemented in the classroom and that there is a 9-step program for successful implementation of growth mindset. And this is actually a very popular strategy used in classrooms throughout the nation right now. The author's perspective is that the author believes that a positive growth mindset is the key to academic and social well-being success. If the students believe that they can accomplish something through growth mindset, then in reality, in the future, that they ultimately will. However, if they have a fixed mindset where they do not think that anything that they do will change the way that they learn, they will traditionally fail in that aspect. The author also believes that teachers should have proper training to successfully carry out this practice. It should not just be thrown into the classroom and say, okay, here you go, let's have a growth mindset. There are proper trainings that can be conducted to where teachers can successfully carry out this program. They also believe that fixed mindset can be detrimental to both academics and a student's self-image. And I also agree with that. If the students believe that they will always fail, then typically they will always fail. My opinion of this article is half and half. I do believe that students and teachers should have a positive growth mindset. However, this article is related to more of just, or in my opinion, it seemed like it related to just students with disabilities. I think that depending on the school setting, this can be successful or unsuccessful. Growth mindset should be applied to all students, not just with learning disabilities. I have a classroom of second graders, and I do have some students who are considered typical learners, and if I don't apply a growth mindset to these students, I feel like my training will go wasted. That these are the students who will still put the others down, and who will ultimately, maybe they will feel like me as a teacher I'm not putting enough attention toward them as well. So then their mindset can become fixed as well. So my opinion is that growth mindset should be applied to all students. And teachers will need to be consistent with this practice, which can be very challenging when it comes to curriculum pacing and assessment guidelines. Principals, administrators, anyone, county are very hard on timelines and what should be done and what should not be done. And with growth mindset, this practice takes time to implement. Step one is identifying basically what the child sees as themselves, which can be used as like a quiz or a scale factor, and that initially takes time because that's one-on-one. And then you have to, step two is identifying whether or not you have a growth mindset or fixed mindset. Step three is teaching the students what is a growth mindset, and then the steps go on to where step 4 and 5 is how you're implementing it in the classroom by showing examples, having things on the board, such as this visual here on this slide. And then the rest of the steps is basically like a through school year process where teachers have to remain consistent with helping the kids understand how to maintain a positive mindset instead of reverting back to that fixed mindset. I mean, for example, with one student in particular, the one time they fail a test, and instead of, if the teacher forgets to praise them on the questions that they got right, they can ultimately revert back to their fixed mindset of, oh, I failed, I'm never going to learn this material. So this is definitely a continuous process for teachers and students to maintain. Implications to practice. Simple praise and positive feedback can promote growth mindset. I already do this in the classroom. Instead of putting how many the student got wrong on their assignments, I put a plus how many they got correct. And my students, they might only be in second grade, but they love seeing how many they got correct instead of got wrong. We do lots of positive feedback to help them recognize that their strengths instead of nothing but weaknesses. Also, my own mindset needs to model a positive growth mindset. Instead of pinpointing certain students in front of everyone or pinpointing what overall class does wrong, I typically try to model how to basically have a positive well-being in the classroom with learning. I also believe that generalizing can help students see a positive future socially, which can ultimately improve academics. It doesn't all have to be about education. We can help practice generalization skills as early as second, first grade, to where it can help them when they are in the secondary academics, where generalization does need to be applied for their adulthood, because learning disabilities will follow a child for life. They will never grow out of it, so they need to be able to have a growth mindset for the future as well. And finally, this is my references, and that's it for today. Thank you.